Can you start a club and then have works of art in the club? I mean, no, because it would be way too messy, honestly, and like the conservation, it would be horrible. I think the thing that would make me the happiest if I could combine an Afrobeat dance party with an African art exhibition. That would be it. A little African art party. Hello, y'all alright? Nectar here, and today I will be talking about art. So today marks the second day of 154, which is a contemporary African art fair that was founded in 2013 by this woman, Turiya Magadlela, and it started originally in London. Then a couple years later it came to New York, and then in 2018 it was its first year in Marrakesh. We love 154 because I'm African and I love to know what other Africans are doing. You know how African people be nosy sometimes. I just like to be in the business, and I love to know all the different ways that all these artists from all these different countries are thinking about their current issues and thinking about their current time. The contemporary perspective on African art isn't always really highlighted, and so what this art does is it really brings to the forefront artists who are working today, working now, be it on the continent, be it in the diaspora. And so 154 actually comes from 1 being the continent of Africa, 54 being the countries that make up the continent. And even though these artists are not exclusively based on the continent, even though their galleries are not exclusively based on the continent, it's really thinking about the conversation of the diaspora and what's happening right now in contemporary art. And so for the first time, 154 is being held exclusively online, of course, due to the COVID pandemic. And so the New York edition was supposed to take place this weekend, and it is now happening all online on Artsy. So because Artsy is an online platform, you're able to access the fair either online on your desktop, or you're able to download the Artsy app and look at it through there. So in this video, I'll be sort of giving an overview of the fair, how I find it, how I thought Artsy as a platform works for it, what kind of content you're able to access, what kind of cool things you're able to do, and stuff like that.
Okay, I don't really know why I got up out of the chair like that. It's about to be just me, you, my voice, and some graphics I tried to make with my Adobe After Effects 7-day free trial. So you know, let a girl know how she did. There are about 90 artists currently featured on the fair. I keep wanting to call it an exhibition, but that's not what it is. They're supposed to have one. Whatever, we don't have to talk about it right now. There are about 90 artists featured, represented by about 25 different global galleries. I will mention that of these 90 artists, only like 24 of them are women, and then of those women, like 3 of them are white, so just putting that out there. There are, of course, some old faves represented who you love. Every time you see a work by them, you just are like, yes, 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 I'd love to see it. And then there also are some new people who are new to me, who I'm not very familiar with, who are sometimes a little bit earlier in their career, or just haven't had as much representation, or this is just their first 154 fair. And I was really excited to learn about them and see some of their work. So of my old faves, I would say my first one who I really enjoyed seeing is Romuald Hazoumè. He makes these really wonderful masks because he's thinking about the sort of petroleum situation that's happening in Benin and also in Nigeria. He has a way of making them very playful because he said that like everyone has a mask. We all put masks up and whatnot, but I think he has a nice way of making them just texturally interesting, visually interesting. I love the texture of this piece here. While the subject matter is very serious, he presents them in a way that has a really wonderful entryway. Wura-Natasha Ogunji, oof. I love her. Her work is just poetry to me. Her works on paper are so lovely because they're really delicate in the materiality of them, but the sort of connectivity of the line that she's always bringing about, the way in which she incorporates movement, how she is thinking about space as sort of something that is anywhere and nowhere, I think is really lovely. Basically, I love her. I stan her. She's brilliant. Then there are some new people who I didn't know. The first being Prince Gyasi. He's Ghanaian. He does a lot of photographs on his phone, which I think is really cool. I think he also is really interested. I know, I heard him talk about it. He's also really interested in music. He has a wonderful perception of color. He thinks about, in that way, the environment and the subject and how they fold and come together, which is really wonderful because it makes his images really striking when you think about not only who the people are, but also where it is that they are. And that synchronization has its own little rhythm. And so I guess maybe that's a little music in there. Then there is Turiya Magadlela. She is South African. Her works definitely give me Sengen Ngudi vibes, not to Sengen Ngudi her, but I think it's wonderful. She works with fabric in a similar way because she also will use pantyhose. She also will use service outfits. So she puts them all together en masse and makes these wonderfully striking abstract compositions. And I think it's really nice because the materiality in and of itself also obviously has really strong connotation. And then when she puts them together, you think about the people who wear these things. So she's thinking about women and work and whatnot. And that's always important. And then, I had to do it to you. I'm Liberian, and I was really pleasantly surprised. A Liberian artist on the fair was my first time ever seeing one. His name is Johnson Wiri. I don't know much about him yet, but I'm going to look into it. I think his portraits are really captivating. They all have these symbols on the face. I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna learn what it's about. I'm gonna find out what it's about. First and foremost, I'm just very happy to see a Liberian artist because as someone who studies art history and has been trying to look into them and find them, it's been a little bit difficult. And so I am happy that I'm able to see him and exist with him and be here with him. So all in all, I really liked to view what I got to see. And now I'm going to let y'all know my thoughts on the fair.
Okay, so now that we have gone over what the fair is, what's entailed, I sort of just want to get into how I felt about it. And my biggest thing, which I'm sure is going to be a lot of people's biggest thing, is that there isn't much to do and there isn't much to learn. So 154 usually will have these, well, first of all, they usually offer these catalogs that you can get. This one is from last year, 2019. This one is from 2018. And in these catalogs, they will have descriptions of all the artists on view. They also will have a schedule of different talks and panels and screenings that will be hosted over the course of the fair. And this is something that we are not getting. So you're actually looking through online, you're looking through on your phone, and you're able to see the works by these artists, and they're really beautiful, and you get to get up close with them, you get to do your digitally augmentation thing. But aside from that feature, you're not really learning about the artist. Like when you click on an artist, you're not getting a bio. When you're clicking on a work, you're not getting a description of the work. And of course, I'm gonna factor in that this, I'm sure, came together pretty quickly because the fair was originally supposed to be taking place around this time, and people sort of had to deal with the fact that they couldn't do that. But I think so much of why 154 is important is because you're able to engage with artists, you're able to hear all of these other African cultural workers come together and discuss current topics. You're also able to talk to gallerists about the works that you're seeing and sort of have a deeper understanding of what you're looking at it and how you should be not how you should be, but how you want to be perceiving it and why you think you would want to support this artist in collecting their work. And right now, we're just not getting that. Of course, there's still more time for the fair to take place. It's going on through the end of May. And so they could be adding new content along the way, which I think would be really nice. And I think, like, I want to learn something new. I want to, of course, like, I mean, because I'm me, I'm going to be Googling these artists. I'm going to be trying to find different interviews that they on. I'm going to try to be watching videos on them and whatnot. Something that 154 though is doing, which I think is really nice, is they're doing this sort of studio visit series. So there are a few artists that they've done already where you're able to go on their YouTube channel, and each of these artists has sort of just filmed their own studio. They're either talking about how they make what they make, or they're just literally showing you their space so you can get a feel for what the process of it is. And that was nice. But again, like, I think it would be really nice if we're able to get some Instagram lives going on, if we're able to have some artsy articles on it and whatnot. And of course, I'm early, and I sort of just wanted to get like my first look, and hopefully by the end of this month there will be more, because usually there is more, and usually I really like it. And I think why I really have always enjoyed 154 is because it's this community that's been built where everyone is committed to that level of understanding and that level of engagement. And that, I think, is the most that I'm missing. I think it also is one of those things where the work is able to speak for itself. I think a lot of the time when you have really strong work, that's just what it does. You don't actually have to do much to it to be able to build an understanding. But a lot of this work I actually was looking at, and because I was so far away from it and because I did not know much about maybe some of these artists, I was just like, what does this mean? What's going on here? And so I'm going to keep my eyes open for what happens throughout the rest of the month. You have so much time to still engage with 154, and I really hope that you do, and I hope you enjoy yourselves. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you wish it could have, what you love that it does have, what you're so about, because I don't know, there are a few things I'm a little so about, but let me know. Thank you for watching. Hopefully next year or later this year, or whenever the next one is able to happen, we can be together in person and have an actual in real life conversation about it all. That would be cute, that would be sweet. So let me know. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. Happy viewing.